did explain what you did. Alejandro, go ahead.
Okay, so, based on the information, H naught was mu D, okay, equals 0, and then H1 is mu D does not equal 0, which is the claim.
Why did you pick that for your claim?
Because it just said, can it be concluded that the cholesterol level has been changed? Wait.
Right.
Yes.
Has been changed. Change means
No.
it's not the same.
Yeah.
Not equal to, great.
And then my second step was to get the critical value. So you were given your alpha, which was 0.05, and then it was out of 6 subjects, so then you do D which was 5. So then you just went on the chart or the T table and found that, which gave you plus or minus 2.571.
Great.
Because it's a two-tailed.
Great.
Yeah. And then from there,
So shaded. Okay, great.
yes, sorry, yes, I should. And then I got my test score.
I think you found your X bar D and your SD next, probably over here.
Yes. And then from that, I did my test score.
Test stat.
Sorry, yeah. So then I did 16.7 divided by 25.4 divided by the square root of 6, which eventually got me 1.61, which is not enough evidence to support my...
Yeah, so what...
Right, so it's not guilty, so you do not reject H naught. And then finally, you do not have enough evidence to support your claim that a person's cholesterol level changed when given diet supplements.
Great. Okay, so remember, this part here, not enough evidence depends upon this part here. If you do not reject H naught, you do not have enough evidence. If you reject H naught, that means you have enough evidence. You got something way out in the far areas. This part support, if your claim is H1, now if your claim is less than, greater than, or not equal to, you're going to use the word support here. If your claim is H naught, in other words, if your claim is equals or is, then you're going to use the word reject here. Because that matches up with our test of rejecting H naught and what that does for your claim. Always. Okay. This is just a reminder of some of the things we did for the TI 8384. Someone pointed out it's actually on your yellow sheet also, right? We don't worry about this one. The intervals actually aren't on here because they're less useful for you guys because I'm going to make you find E anyways.
Yes.
Whereas the test stats are sometimes useful because sometimes these numbers get confusing and difficult to compute, especially with the 2 samples. So those are more useful, I think. Here it is for the tests. So again, we're not going to use the Z-test. The t-test is for which one? Means.
One sample.
Yep. And then the one prop z-test is for proportions.
Proportion.
Good. Proportions. And then there's also, let me grab one from here. Where'd it go? There's also these guys here, which this one is 2 prop z-test is for two proportions. 2 sample t-test is for two means that are independent. And then the t-test of the difference is when you have 2 means
That are dependent.
that are dependent. And as a note, you should note that mu d is equal to 0 here. Right, so then, or mu naught, mu d equals 0. And then you do just a regular 1 sample t-test on this one. You find the difference. Okay. Another one that they found sort of useful was this one here. So again, you don't need this one, and you don't need that one. But that's kind of a summary of all of them. If you want them all on one page with colors, icons. Okay. proportions versus means. So first off, how do you tell if something is a confidence interval or a hypothesis test? Talk to your neighbors about it. I want everybody to know. Talk to your neighbors about it. Confidence interval or hypothesis test? How do you know?
Or like hypothesis test will have a claim and something about like conclusion or something.
Oh, there's two
And it means
All right, guys. How do you know? Yeah, confidence interval will say confidence interval,
Or
it will
estimate.
say estimate. Estimate is the same thing as confidence interval. Hypothesis test won't say that. Okay? A lot of times also it'll have some words like, it'll have some sort of word like, it might say claim, or it might say conclude, or it might say evidence, something like that. All right, so then proportions versus means. How about Jimmy?
Proportions versus means. A proportion will have an experiment or survey where the answers are yes or no, or are or aren't, not evaluated. What does a proportion look like? 14 out of 92 students, or 28.6% of students, or out of 389 students, 212 are. Nowhere does the word sample mean, or sample would mean of, or the mean of the sample, so no X bar. They're all
All right, so let's back up a little bit. Proportion. So it's going to be a percentage. Sometimes we'll give you the percentage. Here's p hat, right? And sometimes we'll give it to you like this whole 389 students, 212 are blah, blah, blah. How do you know which one you have?
It doesn't have mean or average.
Well, right, it doesn't have mean or average, so it's a proportion. But how do you know whether I've given you a p hat or I've given you an x? So let me just point this out. So we know that p hat is equal to x over n, right? I always give you the n, but I'm either going to give you either the p hat or the x, not both. I'll give you one or the other. How do you know whether I've given you a p hat or an x?
Percentage or a number?
Yeah, so the p hat is always going to have the percent symbol after it. So you guys, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So if it's 28.6%, that's a percentage. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying it's 0.268 of a person. That what you get cut off their left leg and part of their hip, and that's 0.28% of a person. You know what I'm saying? So that's 0.28% of all of them. Make sense? Over here where it says 212, do you see the percent symbol after the 212?
No.
No, it's not a percent. That means it's a number. 212 people out of 389 people. Good? So that's kind of how you figure that one out. Good. So again, I'm always going to give you n, but I'm only going to give you p hat or x. Here's the other thing, is your calculator is going to want, if I give you p hat, they're going to want x. So you have to calculate x from that formula, right? If you have p hat and you have n, you can find x.
Yes.
The issue is, if you have 12% of 213 people, and you have, you know, whatever it is, 26.3 people, if you put 26.3 in there in your calculator, it's going to give you an error, because you can't have 26.3 people, right? So you just have to you have to round to the nearest whole number, 26 people, right? The nearest whole. Good? Everybody all good with all those things?
So we're not rounding up.
All right. Keep going from nowhere.
It all comes down to what are you asking in the survey or experiment? What is your height? Are you an English major? How many siblings do you have? Which of these are proportions?
Great. Take 15 seconds with the neighbors. Figure out which of those are proportions. Go.
Are you in?
would it be survey? No.
Well, you're gonna change all of them? But like
That's a yes or no.
directly right now, it's
Are you an English major?
awesome.
Well, no, but the first one, where do you? Oh wait, never mind.
No, that's not a question. That's not a question. Yeah.
That's
a mean. Sibling is a mean because it's not a yes or no.
Right, yeah.
It's like, and then that's why I don't like
Yes or no? How many siblings do you have?
Yes or no?
I was like,
Alright, what is your height? What's your height? What's your height? Yeah, what's your height?
5'8".
Great, what's your height?
5'8".
What's your height?
5'11".
What kind of answers are those?
Numbers.
Numbers, so what, is that gonna be a mean or proportion?
Mean.
Mean, great. Next one. Are you an English major? 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 X, are you an English major? No. Alright, what kind of answers are those?
Yes or no.
So what is that one?
Proportion.
Great. How many siblings do you have? 2. How many siblings do you have?
2.
How many siblings do you have? 3. How many siblings do you have? 2. What kind of answers are those?
Numbers.
Yeah, so that one's going to be a... So this is all about, not the question I'm asking you, the question that the researcher has asked the people when they did the survey. That will tell you what kind of data you have, which tells you whether you have a mean or a proportion. Good? All right. On exam, I still expect you to state your H0 and H1. This is only for hypothesis tests, right?
Yes. Yes.
Set your H0 and H1. Find your critical value, looking up in the table. T table or Z table, if it is, how do you know if it's a Z or a T? How do you know if it's a Z or a T? Mean, yeah, if it's a mean Mr. T, use a T table. If it's a proportion, easy peasy, P, use a Z table. This is both, right? This is a T table. This bottom row is a Z table. You should not have this much writing on there. Okay, so we'll have to give you a new one. Okay. And then find the test value, find the test stat. So you're going to write the formula with numbers in them. This minus this divided by that, right? And then you can use your stat test, whatever, to figure out what that number is. That's totally fine. But you need to give me the formula with the numbers in there. So I know that you know what the mean is, you know the formula, and you know what numbers are, which one's the mean, which one's the standard deviation, etc. Step 4 is all about H0. You're either going to reject H0 or not reject H0. Step 5 is all about your claim. Did you have enough evidence or not to support or reject your claim? How do you guys feel about step 5?
We're good.
Okay, awesome.
Maybe. Suddenly.
These are the steps I want for the confidence interval. I do not need to draw a picture. You don't need that part. Step 1, find your critical value. Look it up in your Z table. Again, for Z, this is proportion because you have easy peasy. For a mean, it's mean Mr. T. Step 2, find your E. E is your margin of error. Doesn't say that here. So if you are confused about what the margin of error is, you should write that down. E is your margin of error. How do you find that? See where it says Z critical value? That really means this guy right here. That's that right there, just in case people are confused. That's really your critical value. Everybody all right, that one?
Yes.
Your sheet calls it Z alpha over 2 or T alpha over 2. But really, it's just your critical value. And then, once you find your error, your E, your margin of error, find your interval. P hat plus or minus E, or X bar plus or minus E. So then you put the lower limit here, parentheses, lower limit, comma, upper limit, and parentheses. Good? Okay. Good. Questions on that part? A little refresher on how to find confidence intervals because people seem to have forgotten.
No.
Yeah.
For those two, can we also put like, what was it, like the first
Oh yeah,
one and
yeah.
then...
The first one, so you can put the lower limit
Right.
is less than
Right, yeah.
P, which is less than the upper limit.
Yeah, so
You can
either
totally
or.
do that, either one. It's
Okay.
totally fine. Just remember, it's P and mu that are in there, not P hat and X bar.
Yes.
Because we know P hat and X bar, those are our sample means. We don't need to estimate those. We're trying to estimate our P and our mu, the things we don't know. Cool. All right. So don't solve these, just to identify the type of problem, whether it's a mean or proportion, whether you're going to use a t distribution or a z distribution, or whether it's a test or a confidence interval. And also tell me what the claim is. So everybody read that? This problem here? Mean or proportion?
It's a mean.
T or z?
The confidence interval.
So they're mean.
Let's hypothesis test.
Oh, the two. Oh, so there are two problems.
All right.
I think. Yeah.
Mean or proportion?
Ooh.
April.
Mean,
Mean, why?
because it gives you the, it says it's a mean.
Says mean.
Number.
Great. All right. So then how about T or Z distribution? Brandon.
T.
T, why?
Me and Mr. T.
Yep, T. Me and Mr. T. And then how about whether or not it is a confidence interval or a hypothesis test?
Yes.
Dennis.
That one in a nutshell. Confidence interval?
Why?
Just a guess.
Read it. I want to take 10 seconds to talk to your neighbors.
No, it's test.
one-
Yeah, your brain is saying it's a test, but you just say confidence interval.
Is there enough evidence?
It's, yeah.
It's a test. It's a test.
Awesome.
All right, Dennis, what do you think?
You're right. I have to come up to.
Want to phone a
I
friend?
think I can take it back. Yeah.
Phone a friend. Who wants to help him out? Anyone? Charmaine, go ahead and help him out.
Should I look at it? It's a test. It's a test because it says claims.
Oh, 'cause it
There's-
says claim. What's
was it-
another reason? Someone give me another reason. Lindsay, give me another reason.
Because it doesn't say confidence interval or estimate.
Right, so one, it says, so it's a test, because one, it says claim, right? It also says there's no confidence interval. Does anyone else have another reason why? Or estimate. So a confidence interval has to say literally confidence interval or estimate. Does anybody have another reason why maybe? There's another word that kind of screams test at me here.
Evidence.
Evidence. Good. Everybody kind of see those? Great. Now what's the claim? What was his claim? You guys want 15 seconds with your neighbors for this one?
Yeah.
Okay, take 15 seconds with your neighbors.
Not equal.
The word claim.
Yeah.
It's not equal.
The claim is that it is 16.
I like your
Right,
slides.
so then it's to reject it, so it wouldn't be that it's not.
Your slides covered.
Yeah,
Wait,
very good. Yeah, not equal.
Yeah, here we go.
Not equal.
Yeah,
So that would be the 8.
right.
Calvin,
But their claim is.
what's the claim? Here's the word
It's
claim.
the very first part. The
Yep.
medical investigation claims the average number of infections per week at a hospital in southwestern Pennsylvania is 16.3.
Yep, so average is 16.3. How do we write that?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. What's the symbol for average?
U
U.
or mu
Uh-huh. What's the symbol for is?
equals
And what's the symbol for
16.3.
16.3? Good. Everybody all on board?
Yes.
That's your claim. So in this case, our claim is H naught. Do you guys follow that? Which means that we're at the end, when we summarize, we're going to either have enough evidence to reject or not have evidence to reject our claim. We're going to use the word reject though. We're going to reject or not reject our claim. Okay, great. Now, here's another one.
Oh, great. Yeah, would you write H not equal, you still need to put H not equals mu?
Yeah,
Or whatever.
yeah, you still have to write that. We're just focusing just on the claim for today.
Okay, cool. Just make it work.
Yep. Talk to your neighbors.
So, according to us, it's a
Mean or proportion, Z or T,
Z.
test or confidence interval.
It's a test. Huh?
You're not talking, I'm more likely to call on you.
Because it's not saying estimate.
Yeah, and then the rating is greater than correct, Zachary?
Yeah.
So H1 is our claim.
I don't know, it's greater than.
All right,
Greater
Haley,
than
is it mean or proportion?
Proportion,
Proportion, how do you know?
because there's a percentage and it says proportion.
Yeah, it says proportions somewhere.
Right there.
There you go. And also, there's a percentage, right? Not, and a percentage is not like 90%, 95%, you know, not a percentage, it's a confidence interval.
Yes.
Okay, great. So is this gonna be a mean or, sorry, T or a Z? April. Z or T?
Z.
Z, why? Easy peasy. Great.
Easy peasy.
Alright, so then, is it a, right, so proportions use a Z distribution. Is it a hypothesis test or a confidence interval? Alasia? Confidence interval, why? Do you want to phone a friend? Dennis will help you out. Ask Dennis.
I don't think it's confidence interval, because I think you said it has to have confidence interval or estimate, right?
Right.
And I don't
So
see
it
it.
has to say confidence interval or estimate to be a confidence interval. Where does it say that?
No,
It doesn't. So then what? So then it's a, what'd you say? Hypothesis test.
A test.
Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
All right, everybody totally fine with that? What's
Yes.
my claim?
Mu is greater
Mu.
Well, it's not mu because it's a proportion.
Oh,
P.
So it better be P. You guys know the difference between mu and P?
yes.
It's
Okay. P
Greater
is
than
greater than.
greater than,
0.36.
yeah. Greater than
0.36.
0.36. Good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone all right with that one? So we're going to be doing the test at the end. We're either going to support or fail to support our claim because our claim is going to be H1. It's not equals.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 15 seconds with your neighbors. So why are we doing this? Because the hardest part about this test, you have 8 problems. 8 problems.
But
So
we will
the
have
hard
negative
part about this test is figuring out what kind of problem it is. If it's a hypothesis test or a confidence interval, a mean or proportion. If you do the wrong thing, then you just drop yourself a grade.
goodbye
Right?
points.
So you have to know what kind of problem you're working with. So you got to figure out how to read that and interpret that. It's not hard. You just need a little bit of practice. So that's why we're practicing. All right. So mean or proportion, hypothesis test or confidence interval, Z or T, and the claim. Talk to your neighbors. 15 seconds.
This is a portion, but this one's a confidence interval.
Wow. Yeah, he's correct.
What is
Whoa.
that means it's a Z because it's proportion.
What is the hat is
Why is it confident?
divided by 1,404, and the hat is 1 by 3.
Yeah.
323 over 1404.
Is
All right. Mean or proportion?
proportion.
Calvin again.
They love Calvin.
What is it?
what is the, what'd you say?
Is it a mean or proportion?
Proportion.
Proportion. How do you know?
It says proportion.
Yep, proportion. It says proportion. Yeah, so that, this 90% does not tell you, because that's the confidence interval, right, the confidence part. So, next, is it a Z or a T? Brandon?
Z,
Z, why?
easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Ooh,
Good.
easy peasy.
Next, is it a hypothesis test or a confidence interval? Amanda?
Confidence interval.
Why?
It says confidence.
Of true portion.
Yeah. It says you're finding a 90% confidence.
Of the true portion.
Yeah, it should have been,
Finding the.
yeah, finding the confidence. I should have said interval, but I don't know why. It's not mine. Someone else wrote it. But yeah,
Same thing.
yeah, same thing. Okay, good deal. And then, so there's no claim. All right, let's take a look at the next one.
It's a mean,
15 seconds, talk to your neighbors.
mean confidence interval.
Well, is it?
P.
Yeah, sure says me. Also sure says
Yeah.
confidence.
This one is finding the end though.
Finding the end.
Oh, yeah.
Because how many
Yeah, because it says
how many is you need to find the end. How many statistics
All right.
is selected?
Mean or proportion? Look, what is the, what is it?
Is that mean?
Mean, how do you know?
Is that the word mean?
Says mean, great. Z distribution or T distribution? Lindsay,
T.
T distribution. Why?
Me, Mr. T.
Yep, mean Mr. T. Great. Is it a hypothesis test or a confidence interval? Brandon,
Confidence.
confidence interval. Okay, so then, people were talking about it and they said that this is sort of a weird case, right? We're want to estimate, right? So it's a confidence interval. You guys see the word estimate? But
The question.
here's the deal. It's asking a question. How many students must be randomly selected? So this is a what? This is a find n kind of problem.
Yes.
So it's a special part of the confidence interval. So you go to your confidence interval area, you'll see has that little minimum sample size. Sample size is your n, right? This is one of those figure out how many people you got to ask
Yes.
problems. So it's that one in this. It's under confidence intervals, but it's a special case of the confidence intervals where you aren't finding the confidence interval itself. You're figuring out how many people you should ask. How do you know? The reason why you know, you have to find out how many statistics students must be randomly selected. How many? If you see confidence interval with how many, then that's usually a find n problem.
Yes.
Yeah?
When you find an N.
Yeah. You have your E. Normally the first step of your confidence interval is to find E, right?
Yes.
Right.
But here we gave you E. How do you find E? How do we find our E?
E.
What's our E?
Within 3.
Find within. Within is your E.
Yes.
Do you guys see what I'm saying? He says, I'll guess your age within 3 years. He guesses. He gets 3 years this way, 3 years that way. Right? That's his error he's allowed. Within 3. Within is the error he's allowed. So within is your error. You guys are asking great questions. Within, that's your error. Now we get capital E because that's your margin of error. Right?
Error.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, this one, 15 seconds with your neighbors.
This is estimate. It's also means. Also, how many statistics?
What is it? How are we doing it? Oh.
What is the question? That's a good already answer.
You're correct.
Am I dumb?
No, you're correct.
Is this the same question?
It's the same.
All right, mean or proportion? Charmaine,
It's a mean.
mean, how do you know?
It says mean.
It says mean.
And it's,
Right.
isn't it the same question as?
It's, go there.
Yeah.
All right, so then is it T or a Z? Calvin again?
It likes
I
Calvin.
got it.
It's T.
Daniel. Okay, so T, fine. T because it's what? Because it's a mean. Daniel, is it a confidence interval or a hypothesis test?
Confidence interval.
Confidence interval, how do you know?
It says estimate.
Because it says estimate. Great. Then, what's up with this one? It's special. Take 15 seconds to figure out why it's special.
Define and
Wait, Zachary.
I have a dumb question.
Okay, I have those all the
If it didn't give this, oh my god. If it didn't give us the standard deviation, how would we?
Brandon, do you know why it's special?
it will always give you the standard
Is it the
deviation.
3 IQ points?
Yeah. We already gave you the within 3. We're already given your E. You need to find out how many students. This is a find N problem. Is everybody on board with that part? Yeah. Okay. Is it exactly the same? No, yeah, it's exactly the same. That's okay. Oh, maybe that's what's true, because this is how you guys remember how to do it?
Yes, but Miss Young, you are gonna give us the standard deviation, right?
Yeah, I would.
Because
Yeah.
that problem doesn't happen.
All right. Yeah, I would have to give you that. For sure. So you plug in. The formula is right in here. Actually, it's, yeah. So it's right here. There's 2 of them. There's one for proportions, one for means. And I'll give you the pieces, and you need to plug those in. The critical value I don't give you. You have to figure that on your own.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you so much. Last one before the break.
Break.
Ooh, this one is. No. There's something about hypothesis test. I love this.
I also kind of like
Sometimes I'm wrong, but I
It's a best.
So basically, it's a hypothesis test.
Is it a
Is there evidence? No. Oh, estimate, you're right.
mean or proportion? C or T?
Evidence.
claim is
Okay.
Read
so
it again. As
Josh, is it a mean or proportion?
Proportion.
Why?
No, it's a mean,
Why?
Because it says find mean.
Mean, because it says mean right there.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
mean to be.
It says, so there's a Z or a T?
T.
You're asking me?
Yeah,
Oh, it's a T.
T. Why? Because means are T, mean is for T, means go T's.
Yes.
Okay, next is a hypothesis or confidence interval. Somebody different. Oh, I got called on yet.
Is it Calvin again?
I got called on. Oh, yeah. Sean, go ahead.
Hypothesis.
Hypothesis test. Why is it a hypothesis test?
Because I just know it's not the other one because it doesn't state the confidence.
Right. There's no confidence interval, right? Or estimate. Everybody on board?
Yes.
Also, there's some words that sort of indicate maybe we're looking at a hypothesis test. So there's a claim and there's evidence. You guys see that?
Yes.
All right. Good. So then what is the claim? Everyone take 10 seconds to find the claim.
Claim.
It's
Greater than.
Alicia, you have the claim.
Mean.
All right, Alicia, what's the claim?
average cost for tuition for and fees are 4-year public college is greater than.
Great. So what would be my symbols?
Oh, it's is it mu?
Mu, because it's an average.
Greater than 5,700.
Great. Terrific.
Good job.
All right, take a break and then we'll come back at 57 after.
57.
57.